You might well ask, what is all the furore about Lucy Connolly being sent to prison for 31 months? Misreported across several channels as 3 years. I think some people need to learn how to count. I think she's would be quite happy not to have got 3 years in actual fact. Every second counts, doesn't it, in the custody phase? Believe me, I know from experience. So, there is an ambit, I guess, really, to misreport these things in a sense, isn't there? To make it look worse than it is. I mean, it does look pretty bad, but then, that said, what Lucy Connolly tweeted, we'll call it Twitter, and we'll use tweets, the old reference, because X just doesn't quite catch on for me, and Xing, well, my goodness, what on earth does that mean? So, a tweet, a post. Yes, okay, it was quite nasty, wasn't it? Not pleasant. It was a moment of anger. I guess you could say a fit of outrage, in actual fact. Deleted within 2 hours, and apparently, according to the police, it was still visible within 3.5 hours. Now, the real issue there basically is, did she actually do anything meaningful to incite violence? I don't believe that she did at all, in actual fact. So why did she plead guilty? One can only assume it was down to being badly advised, which appears to be the norm when dealing with people of a right-wing persuasion. And of course, the liberal left legal profession, infested with liberal leftists, in actual fact. I know that as well from experience. However, the one thing they cannot force you to do, though they do everything in their power to try and persuade you, is to plead guilty. That has to be your choice. And Lucy Connolly made that choice. And her choice landed her in prison for 31 months. The issue is, did she really commit a criminal offence? Well, technically speaking, in law, as it stands, she did commit a criminal offence. However, in Lucy Connolly's position, I would not have pleaded guilty. I wouldn't have posted it in the first place, in actual fact. I'm not a type of person. But that said, in her position, hypothetically, I would not have pleaded guilty. I would have gone no comment at the police station, given only my name, address, date of birth, as I previously advised people, and let them take whatever steps necessary to bring it before a Crown Court. Because it definitely wasn't going to be a summary only matter, was it, in the magistrates, where conviction is absolutely guaranteed anyway. So that's that matter resolved. So it's like this. The issue is this. If you plead guilty, then you accept your guilt. And that is the only real issue, isn't it, with Lucy Connolly, is that she pleaded guilty when she didn't have to plead guilty. We don't know what was going through her mind, so we're not in a position to judge her in any way, shape or form. All I can do basically give my commentary on it, because the centre-right, as usual, have gone absolutely nuts and bananas about Lucy Connolly being sent to prison. Well, she pleaded guilty. She committed a criminal offence to which she pleaded guilty. How many times does it have to be reiterated? She pleaded guilty. People say, oh, I'm sorry to be pedantic. Well, I am pedantic and I'm not sorry about it. And being pedantic, yes, she pleaded guilty when she didn't have to. And this is the salutary message of this very sad case. Sad for Lucy Connolly and her family, in actual fact. And it also has wider ramifications in the free speech context as well, as we all know. But that said, the real issue is Lucy Connolly should have gone not guilty and run trial. The starting point for conviction on an offence of that nature in the event of a guilty verdict is 3 years, which she definitely would have got had she been convicted. I think there was quite a strong likelihood that she would have been, although not guaranteed. But the argument she could have presented was that they had to prove her intent to incite racial hatred. I don't believe there was any clear intention there at all, in actual fact. That's a grey area that only a jury can be left to decide on, in actual fact, in my opinion. And as for a causal link, well, there is absolutely no evidence to prove a causal link between what Lucy actually posted, tweeted, and riots taking place, I think, if memory serves correctly, the disturbances had already kicked off, and she was simply responding to them in a very crass and abusive way. In truth, my opinion is that I think really at best it was a malicious communication, and charging her with incitement to racial hatred was overkill. But that's what it was all about. It was about sending a message to people who wanted to repost false and misleading information put there by bad faith actors, I might add, not Lucy Connelly and the other people sent to prison for reposting false and misleading information. The people who originated the false and misleading information are the ones who should be getting 3 to 5, 6, 7 year sentences for doing it. They knew exactly what they were doing. Yeah, that was their intention. There is a very, very clear pack of evidence against them and a causal link. They caused riots all over the country by posting false and misleading information. I think a far more educated view should have been taken on all of these cases in actual fact, and these people should have been probably just let off with cautions and warnings and told to delete their material basically and not to post anything like it again. So the real issue really with the centre right is, do they really want to be in a situation whereby they can just post whatever they feel like? Well, absolutely yes, that's what they want. Yeah, that's what free speech absolutism means to them. That's why they're always ranting about free speech absolutism. I don't support free speech absolutism. I support freedom of expression, absolutely, without question. But I don't support the right, sorry, not a right, but they see it as a right to post whatever they see fit. So I don't support the right, so-called, to post whatever people feel like on social media without any form of consequences. And there's very clear explanation for that, isn't there? You know, riots, etc., civil war, which is what everyone was talking about at the time. You know, had it escalated a couple of more notches, then we probably would have been in a civil war situation, which is quite ridiculous, really, because the centre-right are in no position to win such an encounter of that nature. Civil wars are always particularly grotesque and vicious, you know, far worse than wars between nations in actual fact. So I think we should make every attempt that we possibly can to avoid one. And if people are given the right to just post whatever they bloody well see fit on social media, which is what the centre-right really want, and I know that, because when they say free speech absolutism, what they're talking about is all of their infantile abuse and some of their extremely unpleasant abuse, and also their threats, for which, you know, a great many of them have still not been arrested and prosecuted to this day. So that's what they mean by free speech absolutism. Just ask Dan Wootton, you know. He's into free speech absolutism. He didn't want his rights to spin false and misleading information curtailed in any way, shape or form when he was at News International, did he? Now apparently he's always ranting about the evil mainstream media that he spent many years working for in a senior role, no less. So I don't take Dan Wootton seriously as a free speech campaigner, in the same way as I don't his former colleague Toby Young, both News International. So I'll say this. The Lucy Connelly case is only really important because it teaches us what the centre-right really want. They want an absolute free-for-all. A riot on social media, in actual fact, that leads to riots out in the street. They want the right to post whatever they see fit on social media without any form of repercussions of any description. And that includes making up a whole raft of false allegations of the nature of which they've made against me. So, the message is quite clear. If you don't want to end up where Lucy Connelly is right now, and for the same reasons, don't post false and misleading information on the internet. Don't incite anything of any description. And more importantly, when it comes to the crunch, when you're standing tall before the man, don't plead guilty to it. And if you don't like what I have to say, well, that really is freedom of expression, isn't it? Don't you like free speech absolutism after all?